And the Oscar for Best Picture goes to... It goes to welcome to the Film Threat Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Gore, joined by Anthony Ray Bench.
How's it going, everybody?
We've just watched the Oscars. Also being joined by a special guest who watched the Oscars with us, comedian Yoshi Obayashi.
Hey, thanks, Chris. That was very exciting. Reminds me that Super Bowl 2 years ago when I thought Seahawks going to win the damn thing. In the last second, some other team took the award. So... I mean, of all the years you've been watching, have you seen a show like that? I mean, I'm still stunned how that happened.
Yeah. Obviously, we're kind of reeling from and I have to apologize. This may be the last Film Threat Podcast because I am deathly ill at this point, and I screwed up so badly on my picks. I'm embarrassed to even be recording a podcast right now about the Oscars.
I thought I was out of a job.
What are you talking about? Well, look. Obviously, we literally just finished watching the awards. The Best Picture, you saw what happened if you watched it. La La Land, which I don't think a lot of people were surprised. The La La Land crew came up. And then some people from Jimmy Kimmel and some other people with headsets came on stage and just said, no. Moonlight won. So... Which was weird because actually we actually went to the internet. The New York Post already had a headline that La La Land won. Like news outlets had already reported that La La Land won. I tweeted from the Film Threat Twitter account that La La Land won. And in the midst of that, in the 1 minute after, then Moonlight was declared the winner.
Chris, you're a student of history. This reminds me when Dewey beating Truman. I don't know what year that was, but yeah, it's I bet you there's a bunch of people in Vegas are running through a garbage can, trying to pick up the slip. When they put money in La La Land, and boy, there's going to be a lot of sad people in Vegas tonight.
Well, speaking of betting, Anthony and I filled out our betting sheets. How did we do?
All right.
You kept track.
Yeah, I did. I had 9 correct, and you beat me with 10.
So I had 10 correct.
You had 10 correct.
But so first of all,
you would have had 11 if La La Land won.
Right.
So you had 11 for like 3 seconds.
Right. Okay. Well, but 10 is terrible.
Yeah.
10 is pretty terrible out of 24 awards.
24 categories.
24 categories. Yeah. I got 10 right.
Yep.
That kind of sucks. Although I did get I actually got the tiebreaker correct.
Yes.
I guessed that Trump would be mentioned by name twice on the show.
I really thought that people were going to bring up Trump a lot more and people were going to take more jabs. Just it's Hollywood.
Well, Trump was referenced not by name.
Yeah.
But, sort of veiled references to him.
I mean, filmmakers were mentioning the travel ban, and a lot of them, or a couple of them, didn't show up.
It was very political, but I think it was hopeful political. It wasn't damning the other side. It was, hey, let's just be more diverse and let's be open minded to diversity. And it was. I think it was a hopeful message. It wasn't a damning message.
I enjoyed that.
No one put down. The UFC or MMA, mixed martial arts. I thought that was not the correct way to deliver that message because
it was very inclusive.
It was inclusive messaging at least. So let's go through some of these categories because the one thing is I have to question now looking through it, like even my philosophies about stuff like best animation. I didn't pick it right. It was Zootopia instead of Kubo.
We both got that wrong. Yeah,
we both got that one wrong. Makeup. What it was.
Suicide Squad is an Oscar-winning picture.
Suicide Squad has as many Oscars as Leonardo DiCaprio.
So, burn.
Yeah. I mean, it's weird. And I saw someone on Facebook posted that Suicide Squad has more Oscars than Mean Streets. Martin Scorsese film, a classic. So yeah, no, that was strange. That was a strange category for it to win, but I don't know. They lobbied and won. What other ones? Special effects. Go into special effects.
Okay, special effects.
Because that was one where I really felt like I had nailed it and I blew it.
Let's see. Special effects. Should have worn my glasses for this.
Yes, you should have worn your glasses. But so let's talk about a couple other things while you're looking for that. I thought Jimmy Kimmel did a great job as host.
Yeah, he was entertaining.
It's first of all, the people that complain, oh, there's comedy bits and the comedy bits take away from the people who should be able to give longer speeches. I do believe they should give longer speeches. They should increase the amount of time they give to the speeches. Number one. But Jimmy Kimmel was a great host. I thought he was balanced. He didn't take it over too much. He was just in it enough, He wasn't he didn't overtake the show, right? So I think they should invite Jimmy Kimmel back.
Yeah, I would love to see him come back.
My only disappointment with it is he didn't say, as a Howard Stern fan, he didn't say, hit him with the hind or Baba Booey. Not one Stern Show reference to Jimmy Kimmel. He is going to get crap from the Stern crew for that.
I also thought that tourist segment was garbage.
No, I thought it was hilarious.
I think it was really funny, but I like the fact that he actually talked about making tribute to David Letterman, because I think we can't say enough how much he contributed to entertainment. So.
I agree. So the visual effects was The Jungle Book, and we both voted on Doctor Strange.
Yeah, Doctor Strange. Jungle Book, I don't get that for visual effects.
Yeah.
I mean, it's basically a digital movie with a kid against a green screen. Mm-hmm. So I don't know how it's basically a cartoon.
Yeah.
It's like giving visual effects to Zootopia. I don't know that really makes sense. Kubo, you could argue better argument for Kubo, because they used, in the animation, they didn't just use the normal maquette size figures. They had like an 18-foot high, skeleton creature that they animated. They animated something larger than a person. Mm-hmm. It's crazy if you look at the behind the scenes on the DVD. But and I have to apologize for my voice, my speaking. I am sick. I am dead sick. So sorry for that. But so some of my other, so that philosophy did not pan out.
No. For either of us.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know that I can be trusted to pick Oscar picks anymore. I mean, 10, maybe I would have had 11. I did get the tiebreaker. What was our other tiebreaker?
The other tiebreaker was the length of the In Memoriam.
Right, the length of the In Memoriam, which ended up being like 3 minutes?
3 minutes and 55 seconds, so 4 minutes.
Right. But
I went with 6 minutes. You went with 3. I was surprised that they burned through those. I thought they would have taken their time.
Yeah, they really went through them quick. Mm-hmm. And what's funny is a lot of people say that they forgot. I guess they forgot certain people, but some of those people were in last year's In Memoriam. Yeah. So
and Bill Paxton. I mean, they had
that
time
happened
to
today.
Put something together.
Yes, but it happened today. I mean, it was pretty horrifying to hear about Bill Paxton. He's the first when I moved to Los Angeles, the first celebrity I ever met. Mm-hmm. I was so excited to see it. It's Bill Paxton from Aliens, and Weird Science.
Aliens is one of my favorite films, and I love Near Dark, and it was just, it was a horrible thing to wake up to this morning.
He got Predator.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, and he
Predator 2.
He was in, he was in this film directed by Adam Rifkin, The Dark Backward. And that's how I met him. And then every time I would run into him after that, he'd say, "Hey, Chris," like no time had gone by. Unbelievable. Boy, so that was really awful to wake up to.
Can I ask you two guys, because you guys know film stuff way better than I do? Do you think how much the political stuff was impacting the Oscar decisions from last year? Because there was such a big uproar last year. What do you think?
I don't know. I just think everything's politically charged because of the election and because of people's. Where people stand on the election, right? Mm-hmm. And of course, people were joking right after the Best Picture Oscar was given out. They said, La La Land won the Electoral College, but Moonlight won the popular vote. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe the other way around. But the point is that, it was, I just feel like things are now really politically charged because of the election results and how people interact on mostly Facebook more than anything else, which is just, it's sort of irritating. I spend far less time on Facebook than I used to, specifically because it's just not as enjoyable experience as it used to be, just catching up with my friends. I don't want to get in a random discussion with someone over politics. It's not something, but let's steer this back to movies.
Sure.
What are the other things in looking at these, how we voted? Because in the early voting at the beginning, you blazed past me. You were like, it was like, you had like 4 and I had like 0. Yeah. It was pretty bad. Like I had to come from behind, kind of a Tom Brady like victory.
Yeah.
At the end, but and now we had a bet.
We did
have a bet, and I had like something awful I was going to have you drink. I can't do it. I can't do it. This also has to be. We have to research this on the next show. We'll get into this. If this was one of the longest Oscars in recent memory.
Honestly, I haven't watched the Oscars since Robin Williams did Blame Canada. So
really?
I have no frame of reference. Like I said in the last show, like I'm the kind of guy that wakes up the next morning and just checks
Siri,
the result.
what was the longest Oscars?
Here's what I found on the web for what was the longest Oscars.
Okay, well, now I got to go to the internet. We'll research that later. Back to the Oscars. So this year, what are your general thoughts? What are the takeaways from this year?
I mean, I still feel the same way about the Oscars that I felt yesterday. They're boring.
They're boring. This is the first. Okay, but so you've said in previous years you don't even watch the Oscars. You just look at the results the next day.
Yeah.
So now that you've watched it, do you realize now why you don't watch it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Jimmy Kimmel was entertaining enough, but just.
I thought it was really good. I thought the monologue was good.
The presenters were boring. The speeches were great, especially Viola Davis. I think she was fantastic. She gave a fantastic speech. But everything else, like even the live performances, just didn't do anything for me.
Well, what I don't like in the Oscar speeches are the ones where they just name off people's names of people that no one watching knows.
Yeah.
That I feel like the best Oscar speech ever was given by Steven Soderbergh when he was nominated for, it was, oh my God, now I'm spacing on it. I'm so, the drug one, the drug film that he was nominated for and won. And he came out and basically said, I'm going to thank, there's a lot of people I'm going to thank, but I'll thank them, later.
Yeah.
And then he gave a speech about creativity and he dedicated his award, to everyone who wakes up every day to do something creative.
Mm-hmm.
Traffic?
It was Traffic. Yes. Thanks, Yoshi. It was Traffic. Thanks. So yeah, when he won for Traffic, that Oscar speech is that, like, I remember that speech that just really stuck with me. So, yeah, I think, it's the typical notes you always give the Oscars, make it shorter, give the speeches more time, because that's why people are tuning in. Let's give more time for those speeches. But the comedy bits worked, and Jimmy Kimmel kept it going. And the little fake rivalry with Matt Damon was funny.
Yeah.
It was funny.
That.
It kept
The wee Bodazy bit.
Yeah.
It had me rolling.
And then playing him off when he came out to present with Ben Affleck, which was awesome. Playing him off, and then him sitting there, we bought a zoo, like, oh, that was great. Like, yeah. So no, yeah, they should have Jimmy Kimmel back. I mean, come on. Who else? Hosting the Oscars is sort of like a no-win thing, right? Like if you host it, you're going to screw up somehow.
Who do you think was the best host of the Oscars, like, of all time?
God, I hate to say this. I think that one of my favorites was Seth MacFarlane.
Really?
I thought Seth MacFarlane he sang and danced. He wrote songs. The comedy was biting. And I guess because, like, the jokes were so harsh, they didn't invite him back.
Yeah.
So I actually think that, like, in terms of recent, I think Billy Crystal's like a classic. Like, he can do no wrong because he's sort of at a stature, like, that he could get away with, making fun of people. But in terms of modern hosts, I think Seth MacFarlane did great.
Steve Martin's a classic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're going to have to cut this short because I am dying. I am literally not able to speak, and I've been the whole time we were watching the Oscars. I'm coughing and wheezing, and so I apologize for my physical physically not being able to hang and do a longer podcast, what are some other any other final thoughts as we end the show? Exactly. All right. Let's end it, and we end it by saying, let's
get out of here.